بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا وسيد الأولين والآخرين محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه والتابعين. والسلام عليكم أيها الإخوة والأخوات في الله ورحمة الله وبركاته. Today أنا مش عارف الجمهور عربي ولا إنجليزي or both mix, then it is better to speak in English in this case. Okay. ممكن نخلط يعني ممكن it may be like bilingual, huh? Anyway, today we are going to talk about a very important topic, which is about Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam in his practical life. Usually as Muslims, during ages and ages, especially later, we focus on Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam as a prophet and his prophecy, spiritual life, ethical life. Most of us, we don't talk, about scholars or even those who work on the Islamic study, they don't talk about the practical life of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as a leader. Because there is a very fundamental issue. When we say that he is the seal of prophecy, يعني his prophecy is the seal of prophecy, خاتم النبيين, that means this prophecy should go, and the message and the law, the Sharia regulations, all those should go forever, up to the day after. While we know that as people, as a human being, we are not the same, we are not stable in a lot of our mentalities, abilities, needs, tools. It changes from one age to another, from one stage to another, from one country to another. We believe that this da'wah, this message, this risala is for everybody. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ, mercy for every life, not only being, not only the human being, even for the animals. But we don't talk about usually how did he establish three different stages, starting by a community in Mecca al-Mukarramah, then a society in Al-Madinah al-Munawwara, and later on an ummah. Which is a big question, actually, how he did it. Yani today, we don't have illiterate people, the same percentage as it used at the time of Prophet Muhammad. Still, we today, we need a big effort, actually, huge effort to change our societies. We have the media, we have the papers, we have the TV, we have the schools, universities, degrees, Islamic studies, thousands of people who are memorizing Al-Quran al-Kareem. But up to now, we have this question, how do we change our situation to a better situation? In our mind, in our heart, in our memory, in our knowledge, yes, we know about Islam. طيب, how do we practice it then? I'm sorry to say that I myself, I feel as if I'm an orphan. Not only as individual, I came from Lebanon, originally from Lebanon. If you read what is taking place, if you focus on a lot of our countries, you'll find out that we are orphans. We don't have a leadership actually who is caring about us, who deal with us with responsibility. While Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam was thinking not only about the people at his time, he was planning and thinking about the people who are going to come after in the future. How did he do that? Sometimes we need maybe to ask questions. What seals of prophecy means? خاتم النبيين, what does it mean? It means that no prophecy after him. Okay, then how this da'wah or this deen or this religion will go ahead? We left our countries, we came from different countries, from different backgrounds, and we are living in a different also culture. And definitely this culture is affecting us. We are influenced by that culture in the West. We don't match each other. Yani if you pick, let us say, a Hanafi person from Istanbul or Beirut or Cairo or New York or London, they don't match each other. They have the same madhab, but they don't match because we came from different backgrounds. This multiculturalism is one of the major characteristics which the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam deal with it and protect it. We'll find that actually in Al-Quran Al-Kareem about inna akramakum inda Allahi atqakum. You came from different races, from different tribes. At the end of the day, the wahda or the unity, it doesn't mean that we have to get rid of our characteristics and to follow the other cultures. We can be Muslim in China and speak Chinese. We can be Muslim in India and speak Urdu or Hindi. And we can Muslims in Hadramaut or in the north, in Sana'a or in any place, in Saudi Arabia or in Abha or in Lebanon, Jordan. We're still Muslims. We don't match each other. How many madhab do we have in As-Sunnah? I am not talking about other groups. In As-Sunnah we have today 4 madhab officially. But they are not 4 because in each madhab we have also different fatwa and different currents. In Al-Shafi'i, in Al-Hanbali, in Al-Maliki, Abi Hanifa and so on. The question is why the Prophet should be people from the human being for a single reason. To be the proof of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala about ability of following the rules. If the prophets are not from us, that means you have a very, what we call it, a solid case to say, he did it because he is a prophet, I can't did it because I'm not. Excuse. Therefore, no excuse in this case. No excuse. In Surah Al-Shu'ara, وَمَا جَعَلْنَاهُمْ جَسَدًا لَا يَأْكُلُونَ الطَّعَامَ وَمَا جَعَلْنَاهُمْ خَالِدِينَ. The prophets are the same like anybody else. قل إنما أنا بشر مثلكم يوحى إلي أنما إلهكم إله واحد. Therefore, some people they think that or they believe that isma means that he is not able to do mistakes. This is not true. He's able to do it, but he didn't do it. He gave the most effort actually to avoid any mistakes. It is a struggle, it is a fight, it is a jihad of nafs. If I told you that the gold will never be rusted, I didn't add anything to the fact. It is not a surprise. It is not a miracle. But when I told you that I have a 10, but it wouldn't be rusted, then you have the question. If he is not able to do the mistakes, then there is no point behind his prophecy. Anyway, as our brother said, in this case we don't have, humanity I mean, they don't have any excuse to say I can't do. He did it. Then we can do it because he is a human being. He is the seal of the prophets sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That means after him, the message is still continued. It continued through Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali, etc. up to now. And up to now we still have ijtihad. Some people they said no, we don't have ijtihad and we haven't to do. The fatwa today, we have a huge question, we have challenges. Not only in the West, because today the world, all the world became like a small village. Any regulation in the USA will affect us in a small town in southern Lebanon, or maybe somewhere in China or India. Because today actually it is like a puzzle. It complete each other. You can't run out of it. Your plastic card will control you. They can't affect you by your control. If they stop it, that is, you have to run here and there to find the regulation. What does it mean when we believe that he is the final? It means that his message is still continuing. This is one issue. Number two, it means that we have to follow him in all details, because we don't have any other leader, any other model, no model except Prophet Muhammad. وَلَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. Even those who we love them, like the Imams, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and the companions, maybe the followers, Al-Hasan al-Basri, Abu Hanifa, Malik, Zayd, all those people, they by themselves, they are nothing if they don't follow Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If we follow them, that means we are following the orders of Prophet Muhammad according to their understanding or ijtihad, or how did they explain to us how we can work accordingly. But it is not something independent. And those who try to do independency, they became out of Islam, like the groups which is especially the Batiniyya. Now, when we say it is the last message or the final message, that means it has the platform and the fundamental issues to continue. If we read Al-Quran Al-Kareem, we don't find too much details in Al-Quran Al-Kareem. We'll find like what we call it the guidance, the headlines. He talked about the ibadah, about Sawm. He defined the month, the place, not the place, the time, and the month. من الفجر إلى المغرب ورمضان. He left the Quran, a lot of details, to Prophet Muhammad alayhi salam. He talked about Salah. We know that in Salah mentioned الركوع والسجود, we bow, but the details, only two things being mentioned in very detailed issues, which is one, which is the loan in Surah Al-Baqarah, Ayatul Dayn, the loan, and the other, the inheritance. Exactly how many shares for each part of the family, for each party of the family from the inheritance. Because it is related to something very important, we recognize it during our life, which is the rights, the economical rights. We hear a lot that somebody died and his family divided because of the money. Yani, if we just think that all the details in Quran, and still we have some arguing about my share and your share, the share of a man, the share of a woman. Therefore, it was very accurate. Also, it means the last message and prophecy. It means that it is able to meet our needs, spiritual needs and the material needs, both of them, the spirit and the body, our food, our knowledge, our sciences, and therefore we need ijtihad. We need to find out the answers of those new questions and new challenges. We are in the West, to whom we have this loyalty, the political loyalty, educational loyalty, from social point of view. If a war happened between, let us say, a foreign country, we call it foreign country sometimes, and a Muslim country, as it happened in 1990, a lot of the questions came up, especially for the youth. One of the major questions I face here in the UK and other places is about the new generations. How do we keep them on Islam? We have this question all the time. Sometimes we are tired to find out the answer, because it is not an easy issue. We are here like a drop in the ocean, and we have to fight. I'm not saying fighting by muscle, but we have actually to do this jihad to find out the solutions. Some people, when they talk about leadership, leadership is not only guiding, giving orders. This is the easiest way to do, to give orders. The most important is, how do you solve the problems itself, individually and the ummah itself. And Prophet was very perfect actually in sorting the problems between individuals and between the communities themselves. When he came to Al-Madinah Al-Munawwara, in Al-Madinah Al-Munawwara we have 6 different communities. We have on one hand, in the Muslim, we have the Aus and the Khazraj, although they are cousins, but they have a lot of problems between themselves. And each tribe, they have also their alliance with the Jewish people. And we have Al-Muhajirun, mainly from Mecca, but there were other Muhajirun came from different places. Came from Najd, came from Ahsa, came from Yemen, like Abu Huraira, he is from Yemen. طيب. On the other hand, we have 3 tribes also, or 3 families from the Jewish side. Qurayza, Nadir, Qaynuqa. And those, although they are Jewish, they are not on the same page. They have their own interests, each one of them, they have. طيب, what Prophet Muhammad did at the first time in this multiculturalism society with different backgrounds. Number 1, he sat down with everybody. And by the way, I want to tell you that after Hijrah, Muslims were not the majority of the population in Medina. Do you know that? They were not more than maybe 10% or 12%. The majority were non-Muslims. But why they accept the leadership of Prophet Muhammad? For us, he is our leader and he is our prophet. We believe in him. For the others, they believe in his wisdom. He can help them to go out of their clashes. And this is not an easy issue. It has never been issue. It has never been easy issue. Even in one family. It may divide it actually when we have this clash of interest. First of all, he sat down with them and they put a contract. It's known in our history as Sahifatul Medina or Ahdul Medina. They translate it as the Charter of Al-Madinah or the Constitution of Al-Madinah. You can browse it. It is in Arabic, in Urdu, in English, in French, in German, translated to many languages, and it is there online. You can find it and you can read it. If we shift it to articles, as we do with the Constitution, like Article 1, 2, 3, it is about 45 articles. 33 of them or 35 of them is in peace and unity. Why? Because when you have peace, when you feel secure, then your area will be like an oasis of peace. And people will come. Therefore, the population of Al-Madinah Al-Munawwara became, after 1 year, maybe double or 3 times more. And not all of them Muslims. Not all of them Muslims. Prophet Muhammad, I have a challenge actually to all our scholars, if they can tell that Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, he forced anybody in Al-Madinah to shift to Islam. He never did. Never. He left people to observe and to test in practice what is Islam and to accept Islam. And he was very clever in this. Because if he forced people to do something, since you haven't that power, they will return back according to what they want. While if they choose the way, then they are going to follow it by the whole mean. And this is what he did, alayhi salatu wasalam. But then he put like a constitution. When we have peace, then that means we have more people, will be like attraction to others, and we have more business, and then we have money, and we are going to grow up. What he did in Al-Madinah Al-Munawwara, all of us, we know about building the mosque. And we know about the brotherhood, المؤاخاة بين المهاجرين والأنصار. But we didn't let, it is not an often issue that we as scholars, we talk to the people about what he did in practice, in political issue or in economical issue. Number one, he did three, I call it like a three by three. 3 by 3. What he did. Number one, the economy, which is the power. You know that economy always is power. You have the money, then you have the upper hand. If you have the money, you have the upper hand. Riba is haram. And riba was one of the most powerful character in the hand of the Jewish in Al-Madinah. No riba now. Then he established Suq al-Madinah, the market of Al-Madinah. What he did by that? Number one, we have people who had the experience in marketing who came from Mecca. While Ahlul Madinah, they are farmers. The product from Al-Madinah. Who used to deal with this product? To sell it or to buy it or to deal with it? They were the Jewish. While we have now the experienced people, the expert people who came from Mecca, then they can do the job. Instead of being unemployed, now they have jobs to do by their own effort, by their muscle, by their brain. And he merged between Al-Muhajirun and Al-Ansar in something very important, the money. Don't be surprised. Europe, after the Second World War, they were talking a lot about unity, and they failed. When they start actually success, when they put it on the railway of economy. Because if my money in your pocket, if I ask you to deal with my money in business, if I share you in my money, then I have the interest to protect you and to help you. And you have also the interest to help me because we are sharing. From one hand, we have Al-Muhajirun with the experience of marketing, and we have on the other hand the landlords, Ahlul Madinah, Al-Ansar, and they have the fields, the gardens, and the products. In this case, we can build a new economy, no interest with the new rules. Then he took actually from the Jewish the power of money by number one, no interest anymore. Number two, the market is in our hand. Our money is in our hand. It would be run according to our benefit, not according to the other benefit. Number two, something very important, the industry. And the same principle still existing up to now. The industry it was in the hand of the Jewish people. They deal with especially whatever related to the iron or brass, iron in particular. They do the weapon, the swords, or other issues they needed. If let us say that we have tribe A want to do a war and to attack tribe B, the first person or the first party will know about it was the Jewish, because part A wants swords and they will run to the Jewish to buy the swords. You understand that? As we do today, when we need any aeroplane, we run to the West, we need an aeroplane, or we need muscle or whatever. فإذا Prophet Muhammad والسلام, instead of being under their power in this issue, he asked, or he told, or he ordered two Muslims to go and to learn how to work in industry. And then now he is independent. He can do whatever secretly, silently, and according to his own abilities and needs. He did that. Number 3, it was the education. Education means power. Allah mentioned it as nur, light, because ignorance is blindness, is darkness. If you don't know reading and writing, you are blind in any society. The first word in Quran, in Al-Wahy, it was شباب ساعدوني شوي عم بحكي أنا كل الوقت خافوا الله. The first word was أمة اقرأ لا تقرأ. The first word was اقرأ. اقرأ is not a word, it is not an order, it is a procedure. It is a huge procedure. By itself it needs like a lecture. But our time is limited. What the Prophet Muhammad did alayhi salatu wasalam in the occasion of education. In the education there was what they call it al-midrash or al-midras. It was also in the hand of the Jewish. If I'm Arab at that time and I want one of my sons to learn, then I have to push him or to give him to a Jewish family to teach him. And I pay for that. As we do here with the British Council, when somebody came with a scholarship, they give him to a family. You don't know that. When we have the scholarships, actually, we have to live at least 1 or 3 months sometimes in the environment, because they believe that education is not only reading and writing, it is also the mentality and the culture. Therefore, there was a very strong relation between some families in Al-Madinah and some families in the Jewish side. Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, he opened the door widely for teaching and learning. One of the hadith, he said, لَيْسَ مِنِّي إِلَّا عَالِمٌ أَوْ مُتَعَلِّمٌ. You either being a teacher or a student. And usually we Muslims, we are students and teachers at the same time. We learn even sometime, like 1 month ago, I wrote an idea on my Facebook. I said that some of our students, they make us brilliant teachers. Their questions, their activities, their way of thinking, analyzing, they help us to improve ourselves, to develop our knowledge. Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, he did care about the new generations. He said, if we have a prisoner of war, it is very easy to release himself by teaching 10 children of Muslims reading and writing, and that is. Later on, the person who put the system of teaching was Umar ibn al-Khattab. All of you hear about تعلموا أبناءكم السباحة والرماية وركوب الخيل. It is not a hadith. Teach your students swimming, riding horses. It is not a hadith. It is the order of Umar. طيب, Umar is living in the Sahara, in the desert. Why do he want to teach the new generation swimming? Because in his plan that we are going outside of our peninsula to places where we have the challenge of swimming. Prophet Muhammad then, alayhi salatu wasalam, number 1, after brotherhood agreements and after building the mosque, he did a 3 opposite to 3 to take out from the hand of the other side the power and to put it in the hand of Muslims. They are principles actually we have to follow in each time. في hadith, I think we don't have too much time. I'm just jumping, or let us say running. Hadith Hind ibn Abi Hala. Anybody heard this name before? Hind ibn Abi Hala. أبو النظارات مولانا هذا الشاب. ايه انت اللي حاطط ايدك كده. سمعت بهند ابن ابي هاله قبل هلا؟ سمعت؟ Did you hear this name? هند ابن أبي هالة? Anybody?
No.
نيالكم حق الشيخ حق مولانا الشيخ.
Hind is a lady's name as well?
No, he is a man. Ibn Abi Hala. Abu Hala was a previous husband of Khadija. And Khadija divorced actually, and then she married Prophet Muhammad alayhi salam, and Hind was small, was young. He grew up at Prophet Muhammad sallam home. And Al-Hasan wal-Hussein, they called him uncle, Khal, Ya Khal. In one hadith, Al-Imam Al-Hasan asked Hind ibn Abi Hala to describe for him Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. How he did at home, how he did in his food, in his sleeping. There is something mentioned in that hadith about how did Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam sorted the problems of the people. As much as you have people, as much as you have clash of interest. Because of the money, because of women, because of the children, because of the business, because of the power, because of a lot of issues. And he told him that Prophet Muhammad sorted by involving each party in something useful for him. نحن عنا عادي إذا واحد اختلف مع الثاني قوم بوسه سلم عليه حبيبك أخوك في الله. This emotional issue, it wasn't at the time of Prophet Muhammad. He was a good judge. He solved the problems according to the need of the people. And also how he did with the community. You hear about Bani al-Mustaliq. When they came from a war and they need actually water, they don't carry water with them. They go where they wells and so on, wells of water or sources of water. Unfortunately, the servants of Muhajirun and the servants of Al-Ansar, each one of them, they want to take like the priority of bringing the water. And there was like a clash, they shout against each other, and then their lords, they came and they also shouted against each other. Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, all what he did that, he reminded them they are Muslims and he's still alive between them. And then they walk day and night, 24 hours, non-stopping even for prayer. Up a point that they don't have any effort even to speak, not to fight. And then they slept, and when awake, they prayed, and then he gave them the nasiha, the advice. Not before that, because they were not able. يعني عندنا عادة في لبنان ببلاد الشام بشكل عام، واحد بيكون غضبان بتقول له صلي على النبي، على غضب يقول لك ما بدي يا أخي، يعني كأنك أنت استفزيته حتى يطلع من طوره. Leave people. This is actually a lesson. A lesson, how do we treat people when they are angry, especially in a point that they want to fight because they believe that it is their right to do so. Help them and don't help the shaitan on that. As a conclusion, our model, our teacher, our guard, our murshid is the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, not anybody else. And to do so, we have to learn السيرة. We are very weak in السيرة. I don't see a lot of lessons or lectures about السيرة. And this is by itself, it maybe need also more than one lecture. Because السيرة is not only reading the history of Prophet Muhammad or the biography of Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. It is not the knowledge of what is his name, what is his father's name, what is السيرة. It means more than that. It means the lessons which we can learn from Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم فاستغفروا الله. If there is any question, please make it يعني soft, not hard.
أحمد.
If there is any question.
Yeah, I have a question. It's not a question, it's just a comment actually. I agree.
هلا لأنه أنا ما بعرفكم اللي بيوقف يقول اسمه بصراحة.
إن شاء الله. محمد حجاب.
دكتور محمد حجاب.
طبيب وبس كنت I read this actually issue in Friday Fuqqa 10 days ago. It's the problem making people not interested in the history of the Sira, the study of the Sira, the approach, the way in our community we speak about Sira. Once you tell the people the Sira, it is okay, Prophet Muhammad, his birth, his grown up, prophecy, Badr, Uhud, Khandaq, Fath Makkah, we're finished. Actually, yeah, your approach is entirely different. We just went how the Prophet Muhammad treated the life, managed the life. And of course, what you actually displayed today, told us today, each point we need a huge study to understand how the Prophet treated. So how the Prophet Muhammad managed the economy, how Prophet Muhammad managed the conflict between the people, everyone by itself needs a lecture. So we just urging the people.
Even the administrative. He was very brilliant in that administration system.
To study the Sira in the right way. The right way, you study the Sira to apply it. You will never love the Prophet Muhammad as it should be loved unless you understand his life very well. To apply it in your life. So you study the Sira by this niyyah, by this intention. To understand his life very well, apply what he did in your life. In this case, you will love him, and then your iman will be complete.
If you asked me, I will say, okay, instead of putting the title of Sira, pick like a topic, a special question or challenge or idea, and then talk about it. And we have a lot of books actually عندنا مصطفى السباعي, he put a book about it. الشيخ محمد الغزالي, he has about fiqh السيرة, and also Sheikh Muhammad Saeed Ramadan al-Bouti. And today we have maybe more than 25 different books translated to English about السيرة. But still, I'm wondering why in the Muslim world nobody invested in السيرة or in our history. You'll find that they invest in different series, let us say, social series, especially in Syria and Egypt. They are very good actually in acting, تمثيل, cinema, المسرح. I believe that we need Muslims to think about it. Unfortunately, let us say that we call for a night prayer, قيام الليل. People will believe that it is ibadah. But if you call, let us say, to create a movie, how many people will think that it is deserve to pay attention or to pay money or even to give time for that? They don't believe that the movie is, you can do ibadah through movie, for instance, or through the media. It is very rare. We have here our brother, Saadallah, the great brother. He is trying to do something individually. He told me that he has a channel on the YouTube and he tried to do his best. But he, as a person, as one person, he can do a lot. أي واحد منهم حج أحمد مبتسم حج بسام هذا الحج بسام. What I want to say that people, they don't think about ibadah except about the regular ibadah, like salat, like siyam. يعني حد if you talk, maybe they paid for a farm to help some poor people to do like a business or whatever, but they don't think about media. While a lot of people, not us, they invest in the media. 1/3 of the income of Iran is going to the media. They have movies actually, and they change the history. They like to change the education of people through the history, through the cinema, through the movie, as the Americans are doing and others, especially American. Yes, if you ask me, yes, we have to divide it into different topics, and then we pick each one of them and we talk about it.
Just one question about what you said, because it enlightened me that the European economic market after World War II, that's what brought Europe together.
Yes.
And then when the 1990s united Europe, they were celebrating only, but they were unionists before it. They can't really say very much food because they will all get together. When the Prophet ﷺ did that in Medina, took the economy power from the Jews to become again in the minority, as you mentioned. Was that a happy time for the others? They wouldn't like it.
Definitely.
How did you resist the resistance you find in it?
Al-Khandaq. It was one of the results of that. They went to Mecca and they talk all the time with the Meccan and come, you are from outside, you are from inside, and we can damage. Therefore, actually, they broke that charter. They wrote, they signed it, but they worked against it. طبعا حرب الخندق كانت واحدة منها.
So you want the people won't be happy with you if you've done that. You need to be preparing yourself as well.
Exactly.
Of a big resistance.
Exactly. And this is actually, I don't want to shift it to economy or political, but we have one of the new experiences in one of our countries. They start by economy. يعني أنت برأيك تركيا شو حققت؟ بالeconomy. They started by economy. Or otherwise they don't have the money actually to do all what they did. If you need a clean street, if you need clean streets, undergrounds, universities, then you need money. And now the war against them is the money. The lira fell down from, it was the dollar was 1.5 lira to the dollar is about 30, maybe 40 or 38. It is the economy. Egypt, before the Second World War, the guinea, the pound.
It was more expensive than a golden pound.
It is. What happened? They destroy it by economy.
2,400 pounds.
But an economy is one of the issues which we can think. And if you think, if you focus on that point, you'll find out that Islam, although closed the door of interest, but he opened the door widely for other contracts, which is halal. بتعرفوا في شيء بالإسلام اسمه شركة المفاليس؟ تعرفوها هذه؟ سامعين فيها؟ شو كيف بنترجمها شركة المفاليس؟ المفلس. شو المفلس يعني؟ The company of bank robbers.
Bankrupts.
لا هن مفاليس مش الإفلاس. يعني هن المفلسين. شركة المفلسين.
Yeah, bankrupted people.
Bankrupted. تعرف شيء هذه؟ بقول لك you have the effort, you have the skills, but you don't have the money. We can work together. انت بتشتغل بالالكتريسيتي، انا بشتغل بالبيلدينج، هو بيشتغل بالكاربت. Then we can create, and then we are working with the money of others, but we are giving our skills. مثل لما اجيب كهربائي بقول لك هي بتكلفك 50 باوند بس بدك تدفع 500 باوند حق الاغراض. مش في هيك بيجوا لعندك على البيت؟ When we need somebody, a labor, sometimes he will say, okay, you pay for the equipments, and then you pay me my effort, my labor. Yeah, the material on one hand, فليس مفلس وجاء عندك ما عنده شيء، عنده شاكوش بإيده. Islam created that since 1500 years. And Muslims actually they did a lot. Anyway, we can't go too far in such topic because it is very, and it has a lot of details. Yes, please. A book in the Sira, English or Arabic? Let us say in Arabic. Fiqh al-Sira. You have two books in that name, Fiqh al-Sira, Sheikh Muhammad al-Ghazali rahimahullah, and we have Sheikh Muhammad Saeed Ramadan al-Bouti. And I think both of them they translated to English.
I can suggest as well, on the internet you'll find Dr. Raghib al-Sirjani.
Yeah, he has a lot of that.
He's got a very good reference for it, and it's in videos and as well transcripted now into text now if you want to.
Good. This is good. Jazahullah khairan. Okay. This is okay. This is okay. الصحيح. شيخنا بده حدا يدعي لنا. واحد منكم. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. جزاكم الله خير.
جزاكم الله خير جميعا. نسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يبارك ويوفق ويعطي كل الخير للدكتور دكتورنا العزيز. ونسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يجعل جمعنا هذا جمعا مرحوما ويجعل تفرقنا من بعده تفرقا معصوما ولا يجعل بيننا ولا معنا شقيا ولا محروما. نسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يغفر ذنوبنا أجمعين كلها دقها وجلها علانيتها وسرها كبيرها وصغيرها. اللهم اغفر لنا ما قدمنا وما أسررنا وما أسررنا وما أعلنا وما أنت أعلم به منا. أنت المقدم وأنت المؤخر، أنت على كل شيء قدير. اللهم وفقنا إلى ما تحبه وترضاه ولمن أوصانا بالدعاء ولمن أحبنا فيك ولمن أحببناه فيك. اللهم حبب إلينا الإيمان وزينه في قلوبنا وكره إلينا الكفر والفسوق والعصيان واجعلنا اللهم من الراشدين. اللهم آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. وصل اللهم وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه.
ندعو لإخوانكم في